Water. It's the stuff of life. It's a big part of our daily living, our scenery, our recreation. We take it for granted. We rarely think about where it comes from or where it's going. It's just there at the turn of a tap. Or so it seemed until recently, here in Colorado. So where does this water come from? No rivers flow into our state, but water from Colorado flows through 17 American states and to Mexico. Much of our water is contractually obligated to users in other states. As we shall see, current river flows have dropped and are inadequate to meet all these needs. Almost all of Colorado's precipitation comes in the form of snowfall in the mountains. We receive an average of 17 inches of precipitation each year, making this a semi-arid region. Population growth, which is outpacing growth in the rest of the U.S., is part of the reason for the shortfall of water in Colorado and the desert Southwest. Another critical factor is that even with good snowfall in the last several years, we are in the midst of a long-standing drought that is predicted to get worse. Shown in red and dark red on this map are counties that are experiencing severe drought. With satellite image, we can detect vegetation loss, which is a measure of rainfall, as indicated in red and dark red on this map. The huge Colorado wildfires of recent years are due in part to the drought. Unless we change many aspects of how we handle water, we are facing a crisis that will impact all users. The crisis will further degrade our environment, make us more susceptible to disasters, and impact our recreational access. Water usage in Colorado and the West is mostly for agriculture and livestock. Smaller amounts are needed for municipal, residential, industrial, and other uses as shown in this table. Colorado agriculture is a $40 billion industry with many different components as shown on this chart. It is one of the largest economic engines and employers in the state. It takes about 1,000 gallons of water to grow each of the 1,500 pounds of food eaten by the average American each year. Since little of the water in the state falls in the form of rain, snowmelt creates rivers that supply most of our needs. The headwaters of 4 major rivers are located in Colorado: the Arkansas, Rio Grande, Missouri, and the Colorado. We will now shift our focus to the Colorado River, recently named one of the 10 most endangered rivers in the country by the nonprofit environmental group American Rivers. Running more than 1,400 miles through 7 U.S. and 2 Mexican states, the Colorado River supplies water for more than 30 million people, including those in the Front Range urban area, with water piped under the Continental Divide, and people in Phoenix, Las Vegas, San Diego, and Los Angeles. It has been called America's Nile and described as one of the most controlled, controversial, and litigated rivers in the world. The river contains 29 major dams. 70% of the water is diverted. The damming and diverting of the river has been described by some as a triumph of engineering, and by others as a crime against nature. Most of the water diverted from the river is used for agriculture, serving more than 3 million acres. The Imperial Valley in California, an important source of our domestic winter produce, is supplied solely from the Colorado by irrigation ditches through the desert. By the time the river reaches the Gulf through Mexico, it is often virtually dry, having been held in reservoirs where much of the water evaporates and is then diverted to the many users. The river basin is home to many species of fish, some of them threatened or endangered. The Colorado Basin is part of the migration of many songbirds. The river delta in Mexico is an important habitat for many river birds. The riparian environment is important for 90% of the wildlife in Colorado and the desert Southwest. This mighty river is imperiled. The levels in the main reservoir have dropped by 40% in 13 years, to a level where it is not certain that the flows will be able to service Las Vegas in the near future. Global temperature increases are projected to reduce the flows by 20% or more. Many fish have become extinct due to loss of habitat, loss of access to breeding grounds, and change of water temperatures. Other animals are similarly endangered. Because of its importance to so many people, many agencies, federal and state, oversee the Colorado River. The final version of the Colorado Water Plan is due in late 2014. Various options have been proposed to address the issues of stream flow, water demand, and potential disasters such as fire, flood, and drought. River advocates, nonprofit and industry-based, have weighed in on the plans. One such organization is Protect the Flows, a group of business owners who depend on the endangered Colorado River. These businesses employ 250,000 people, generate $26 billion annually, and service over 5 million visitors each year. Protect the Flows believes that we should work on the simpler, less expensive approaches initially, rather than employing major infrastructure projects such as diverting water from Midwestern rivers into the Colorado or ocean water desalination. One simple approach is water banking, allowing temporary or permanent transfer of legal water rights between users, thus reducing need for further diversions. Conservation and water banking can be effective immediately, whereas infrastructure projects are expensive and take years. The Colorado Water Trust is a nonprofit that works closely with the governmental agency, the Colorado Water Conservation Board, to come up with legal and technical strategies that will leave our rivers in the best condition to serve the many users, present and future. The Water Trust is working to avoid further diversions under the Continental Divide and improve the health of rivers. Many dams could be removed to improve stream flow and fish breeding. Some diversions could be modified to improve river flows. Our food supply, household water, and recreational quality of life are all at stake. There are no simple answers to the problems of the Colorado or the larger issue of water in the American West. Our current way of life is threatened. It is imperative that we take action now for ourselves and future generations.